Have you ever noticed how some people command attention the moment they walk into a room? How people instinctively listen when they speak, even without trying? You might assume it's because they're smarter, richer, or more talented than you, but that's not the reason. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Being liked is making you weak. It feels counterintuitive, right? Society tells us that if you're friendly, agreeable, and always accommodating, people will respect you. But the exact opposite is happening. The more you try to be liked, the less influence you have, the less people take you seriously. The easier it becomes for them to walk all over you. Think about your life for a moment. Someone interrupts you in a meeting, and you stay silent. A friend cancels plans at the last minute, and you smile anyway. Someone takes credit for your idea, and you let it slide. What are you really doing in these moments? You're training people to disrespect you. And here's the part that shocks most people. The ones who never get walked on aren't lucky. They're not just born with charm or intelligence. They understand something most people never learn. A secret about human psychology that Machiavelli discovered over 500 years ago. A secret that separates the people who command rooms from those who disappear in them. What if I told you that chasing approval is the single fastest way to give away your power? That every time you bend yourself to make someone else comfortable, you're slowly erasing your own authority. This isn't feel-good advice. This is cold, unfiltered truth. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why some people naturally demand respect, while others endlessly beg for it. You're about to discover why respect is far more powerful than being liked, how people unconsciously use your need for approval against you, and the exact principles to reclaim control over how the world treats you. So if you're ready to stop being everyone's backup plan and start being the person they have to pay attention to, let's begin. Drop this affirmation in the comments right now. Respect over approval. Because if you're chasing approval, you're already losing. Every single time someone has walked over you, dismissed your ideas, or taken advantage of your kindness, there's been one thing in common. They knew you needed their approval more than they needed yours. Think about it. When was the last time you genuinely respected someone who is desperate to be liked? Chances are it was never. Desperation has a smell. People can sense it instantly. And once they do, they don't see you as powerful, admirable, or influential. They see you as weak. When your focus is on being liked, here's what happens. You become predictable. People learn exactly how you'll react. They know you'll smile even when insulted. They know you'll agree even when they're wrong. They know you'll show up no matter how poorly they treat your time. And once you're predictable, you become disposable. The irony is brutal. The harder you try to be liked, the less people actually like you. Now pause and think about the people you truly respect. Are they the ones constantly seeking approval? Afraid of confrontation? Always bending over backwards to be liked? Or are they the ones who operate on their own terms, indifferent to whether you approve or not? It's human psychology. We desire what we cannot have. We dismiss what comes too easily. By chasing approval, you're actively lowering your value in the eyes of everyone around you. Machiavelli famously said, "It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both." Before you panic, let me clarify. He wasn't endorsing tyranny or cruelty. He was describing the psychology of respect. Fear here doesn't mean terror, it means consequences. People treat you differently when they know crossing you carries a price. Think about the people in your life who command real respect. Your strictest boss, the toughest teacher, that friend who always tells you the truth even when it hurts. What do they have in common? They don't need your approval. They have boundaries. They enforce them. They know their time, their energy, and their self-worth are non-negotiable. Meanwhile, people pleasers get walked on, overlooked, and forgotten. When you make yourself available to everyone, you become special to no one.
The people who benefit from your desperate need to be liked don't respect you for it. Deep down, they see it as weakness. They may smile, say kind words, even praise you, but behind closed doors, they know they can push you, manipulate you, and get away with it. This is the trap that keeps millions powerless. They think being agreeable, nice, and accommodating will earn respect, but all it does is make them expendable. Respect is not given, it is commanded, and you cannot command anything while begging for approval. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I choose power. Because once you understand this, everything changes. Once you stop chasing approval, you reclaim control. And the first step is realizing that being liked is secretly making you weak. This section is roughly 450 words. The next section will focus on the dark power of respect, what it is, why it matters, and the principle of consequences that gives it strength. Now that you understand why being liked is secretly sabotaging your life, let's talk about what actually works: respect. Not the fake, polite respect people give when they're trying to be nice. I'm talking about the deep, instinctive respect that makes someone pause before they cross you. Respect that changes the way people think, act, and interact with you. The foundation of real respect is simple: consequence. When people know that crossing you will cost them something, your time, your energy, your attention, they don't cross you. Most people get this wrong. They think respect comes from being impressive, talented, or successful. But that's not respect, that's admiration. Respect is earned when people understand that disrespect comes at a price. Let me break it down. When someone disrespects you and you do nothing, you're literally training them disrespect is free. You're training them to treat you poorly. But when someone crosses a line and you impose an immediate consequence, they lose access, they lose your help, they lose your presence. They learn fast, don't do it again. This is why the nicest people often get treated the worst. They've trained everyone around them that bad behavior has no repercussions. They've made themselves safe to disrespect. And once you're safe to disrespect, respect becomes impossible. Now imagine flipping the script. When you make it clear that your time, your attention, and your energy have real value, everything changes. Suddenly, people start thinking before they act. Suddenly, they start treating you like someone who matters. Machiavelli once said, "Men are so simple and so ready to obey present necessities that he who deceives will always find someone who will allow himself to be deceived." People will treat you exactly how you allow them to treat you. No better, no worse. Here's the key difference between demanding respect and demanding to be liked. When you demand to be liked, you give control to others. They decide whether you get what you want. When you demand respect, you are in control. Respect isn't something others give you, it's something you take by refusing to accept anything less. Think about the most respected people you know. Do they beg for respect? Do they explain why they deserve it? Do they compromise their boundaries to make others comfortable? Never. They simply refuse to accept disrespect, and that refusal is their power. This is what separates the powerful from the powerless. The powerful understand that respect is non-negotiable. The powerless believe respect is something you earn by being extra nice. But the truth is, you can't earn respect by giving your power away. You earn respect by keeping it. Drop this affirmation in the comments. My worth isn't debatable. Because once you internalize this, you stop bending over backwards for approval. You start building a presence that commands respect automatically. Here's something that might blow your mind. Every single interaction you have is about control. Who controls the conversation? Who controls the relationship? Who controls the outcome? If you don't know the answer, it's not you. Approval seekers hand over control without even realizing it. Every time you modify your behavior to gain someone's approval, you give them control over your actions. Every time you bite your tongue to avoid conflict, you give them control over your voice. Every time you say yes when you want to say no, you hand them control over your choices. People who don't need approval, however, they keep control. They speak their minds regardless of others' reactions. They make decisions based on what they want, not what others expect. They set the terms of every interaction instead of accepting whatever terms others offer. This is why approval addiction is so dangerous. It's not just about feeling good or bad, it's about who decides what happens in your life. When you need other people's approval to feel okay, you've handed them the remote control to your emotions. Think about it. When you desperately need someone to like you, you'll do almost anything to keep them happy. You'll change opinions, hide parts of yourself, compromise your values. You become whatever they want you to be. That's not a relationship. It's slavery with extra steps. But when you don't need their approval, when you're fine with them disliking you, if that's what it takes to stay true to yourself, you have all the power. They can't manipulate you because your need isn't something they can exploit. This is the secret confident people understand. They're not confident because nothing bothers them. They're confident because they refuse to let others' opinions control their self-worth. They are psychologically untouchable. Machiavelli once said, "Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are." The moment you stop performing for others' approval, you become unpredictable. And unpredictability is power. What happens when you break free from the approval trap? First, people can't manipulate you anymore. They can't push your buttons, guilt you, shame you, or pressure you, because those tactics only work on people who need validation. Second, your decision-making becomes crystal clear. Instead of asking, "What will make others happy?" you start asking, "What's best for me?" You focus on pleasing the one person whose opinion actually matters, yourself. Third, your relationships improve dramatically. Not all of them. Some people will disappear when they realize they can't control you. Good. The relationships that survive are the real ones, based on mutual respect instead of your desperation for approval. This is the psychological shift that changes everything. From, "I hope they like me," to, "I don't care if they like me." From, "What do they think?" to, "What do I think?" From, "I need their approval," to, "They need to earn my respect." Drop this affirmation in the comments. I control my worth. Once you internalize this, you start living life on your terms. No more bending over backwards, no more sacrificing your power for temporary approval, no more letting others control your emotions. Let's talk about something uncomfortable. Your need for approval isn't just a personality trait, it's an addiction. And like any addiction, it's being used against you by people who understand exactly how it works. Here's how it plays out. Someone compliments you, likes your post, or tells you you're great. Your brain releases dopamine, the same chemical released when people use drugs. You feel good, really good. But just like a drug, once that high wears off, you need another hit. You crave more validation, more attention, more reassurance. Here's where it gets sinister. The people around you notice this pattern almost immediately. They learn that a little bit of approval can get you to do almost anything. Need you to work late? Praise your work ethic. Need you to lend them money? Compliment how generous you are. Need you to ignore bad behavior? Tell you how understanding you are. They're literally using your brain chemistry against you. And the worst part? You're helping them. By being desperate for validation, you take whatever scraps they throw your way. You've trained yourself to become predictable, to become controllable, to become available on demand. This is why approval addiction is so dangerous. It makes you easy to control. People know exactly which buttons to push, and you respond without hesitation. They don't need force or threats, just a little bit of praise, and you bend over backwards. But people who don't need approval are impossible to manipulate this way. You can't control them with compliments. You can't manipulate them with acceptance. You can't use their emotions against them because their emotions don't depend on your opinion. Here's the brutal truth about validation. It's cheap to give and expensive to receive. Anyone can tell you you're wonderful. It costs them nothing. But for you to feel good about yourself, you need it over and over from more and more people. You become dependent on something completely controlled by others. Machiavelli once said, "He who neglects what is done for what ought to be done sooner affects his ruin than his preservation." When you focus on what others think you should be instead of what you actually are, you destroy your own power. Think about how this plays out in real life. The approval addict changes personality depending on the group. They have different opinions in different rooms. They hide parts of themselves that might not be popular. They become a collection of masks, not a real person. Meanwhile, people who don't need approval stay consistent. They express their real opinions in every room. They don't hide their authentic selves because they aren't afraid of disapproval. Ironically, this authenticity makes them more respected and genuinely liked than any people-pleaser ever will be. Breaking approval addiction isn't easy. Your brain fights every step of the way. It will tell you that without others' approval, you'll be alone and rejected. It will make you feel guilty for not caring what others think. It will try to pull you back into old patterns. This is where discipline comes in. You have to consciously choose to stop seeking approval, even when every fiber of your being wants it. You have to be willing to be disliked, misunderstood, and criticized. You have to value your own opinion more than everyone else's combined. Drop this affirmation in the comments. My validation comes from within. Once you accept that, the chain of control breaks. You reclaim your autonomy, your confidence, and your power. You stop living for others and start living for yourself. Now we get to the practical side. This is where theory becomes action. The rules I'm about to share will transform you from someone who gets walked on to someone who commands respect without saying a word. These aren't just theories. They're tested principles that work every single time. Rule 1. Speak less, act more. Most people talk too much and do too little. They over-explain, make excuses, and constantly justify themselves. This makes them look weak, desperate, and predictable. People who command respect do the opposite. They speak only when it matters and let their actions speak for them. They don't explain decisions to those who don't deserve explanations. They don't justify choices to people who wouldn't make better ones.
Explanations. They don't justify choices to people who wouldn't make better ones. When someone disrespects you, don't give a speech about respect. Just remove yourself.
When someone crosses a boundary, don't explain why it matters. Enforce the consequence. When someone questions your decision, don't defend it. Stick to it. Machiavelli said, "The lion cannot protect himself from traps, and the fox can't defend himself from wolves." One must therefore be a fox to recognize traps and a lion to frighten wolves. Be the fox when you need strategy, and the lion when you need to show strength. Rule 2. Never chase approval. This one is simple but not easy. No matter how much you want someone to like you, don't chase them. Don't text repeatedly if they don't respond. Don't explain yourself when they seem upset. Don't try to win them over when they're cold. Chasing approval broadcasts desperation, and desperation repels respect. Instead, practice indifference. If they like you, great. If they don't, it's their loss. This calm, detached approach is magnetic. It makes people wonder why you don't need their approval, and that wonder turns into respect. Rule 3. Stay cold and calm under attack. When someone insults you, provokes you, or pushes your buttons, your reaction decides everything. If you get emotional, defensive, or angry, they win. Staying calm, indifferent, or even slightly amused signals that they cannot control you. You're psychologically bulletproof. People who rely on manipulation fear this because it renders their tactics useless. Rule 4. Stay unpredictable. Predictable people are easily controlled. When others know exactly how you'll react, they can manipulate you effortlessly. Instead, be strategically unpredictable, sometimes generous, sometimes ruthless, sometimes social, sometimes distant, sometimes helpful, sometimes self-focused. Machiavelli said, "Since love and fear can hardly exist together, if we must choose between them, it is far safer to be feared than loved." The key isn't cruelty, it's strategic balance. Be neither consistently nice nor consistently mean. Be both on your terms. Rule 5. Enforce boundaries. Swiftly and silently. When someone crosses a line, the speed and clarity of your response matter more than the severity. Swift, proportional consequences teach lessons far better than delayed, harsh punishments. Silence often speaks louder than explanations. Don't warn people multiple times. Don't give second chances to the same behavior. Don't explain why their behavior is wrong. Implement the consequence immediately and move on. This teaches everyone that your boundaries are real, non-negotiable, and not suggestions. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I am unmovable. Rule 6. Scarcity and distance as power multipliers. Most people get this backwards. They think always being available makes them valuable, that always saying yes makes them indispensable, that giving unlimited access to time and energy makes them loved. They're wrong. Scarcity creates value. Always has, always will. When something is rare, people want it. When it's common, it's ignored. This applies to money, opportunities, objects, and most importantly, you. When you're always available, you become background noise. People stop appreciating your presence. They stop valuing your cooperation. They stop worrying about hurting you. But when your time is scarce, when attention is limited, when forgiveness is conditional, suddenly people treat your resources like gold. Think about the most socially powerful people you know. Are they the ones who say yes to everything? No. They show up on their terms, leave on their terms, and say no without explanation. Their selective presence makes them more valuable. This is the power of strategic distance. It's not being cold or cruel, it's being selective with your energy. Not everyone deserves your time, not everyone deserves your help. Scarcity is self-reinforcing. The less available you are, the more people want your attention. The more they want your attention, the better they treat you. The better they treat you, the more selective you can afford to be. But you have to be willing to lose some people in the process. Those who only valued you because you were easy to access will disappear, and good. Those weren't real relationships anyway. The ones that stick around respect your boundaries and appreciate your selective presence. Those are the relationships worth having. Now that you understand the rules, the strategies, the mindset shifts, and the subtle power plays, let's talk about what actually happens when you implement them. Because understanding theory is one thing, but living it, that's where your life transforms. First, your relationships change dramatically. Not all of them. Some people will hate the new you because they can't manipulate you anymore. That's a good thing. Those were the relationships built on your availability, your neediness, and your desperation for approval. The ones that survive, they're the real ones, based on mutual respect instead of your willingness to bend over backwards.
Think about it. When you stop chasing approval, you're no longer playing a role to please others. You're fully yourself, unapologetically. That authenticity is magnetic. People don't just like it, they respect it. And respect is far more powerful than being liked. Second, your confidence skyrockets, but not the fake, shallow kind that depends on someone else's validation. Real confidence is knowing your worth isn't negotiable. You stop second-guessing every decision because you stop caring if people agree with you. You stop over-explaining, over-apologizing, over-performing. Your energy, your focus, and your mind are completely free to act without fear. Third, opportunities start seeking you instead of the other way around. People come to you asking for your opinion, offering positions, and treating you like someone of value. Why? Because you are no longer predictable, controllable, or desperate. You've become rare, powerful, and untouchable. People instinctively want to be around that energy. Fourth, your stress levels drop. When you stop trying to manage everyone else's emotions, expectations, and opinions, life suddenly becomes simple. You're not constantly reacting. You're not overthinking. You're not drained by the endless need to please. You focus on what actually matters, and everything becomes clearer. But the most profound change? You become psychologically free. Free from the exhausting cycle of seeking approval. Free from the need to be someone different for every person you meet. Free to be authentically, unapologetically yourself. Machiavelli said, "It is not titles that honor men, but men that honor titles." Your worth doesn't come from what others think of you. It comes from what you think of yourself and how you choose to show up in the world. This transformation isn't instant, and it's not always comfortable. Your brain will fight it. Your emotions will resist. People in your life might push back, test you, or even try to pull you back into old patterns. You'll second-guess yourself when people react negatively to your boundaries. You'll wonder if you're being too harsh. You'll be tempted to chase approval just to feel safe again. That's normal. That's part of the process. But here's the truth. On the other side of that discomfort is a version of yourself you've probably never met. A version who commands respect without demanding it, who attracts real relationships without chasing them, who holds real power without abusing it. The world is filled with people desperately trying to be liked. They are slaves to approval, constantly performing, constantly seeking validation. They'll sacrifice their time, their energy, and their values just to avoid being disliked. Meanwhile, there are far fewer people who truly command respect. People who have learned to set boundaries, enforce consequences, stay unpredictable, and value themselves over the opinions of the crowd. These are the people who get what they want without asking for it. These are the people who move through the world with quiet authority. Which one do you want to be? If you've made it this far, you're already ahead of most people. Most people cannot handle the uncomfortable truths about themselves. They would rather stay comfortable, liked, and powerless than face the reality of how they've been giving their power away. But you're still here.
That means you're ready to move from someone who gets walked on to someone who gets respected. Someone who begs for approval to someone who doesn't need it. Someone who gives their power away to someone who keeps it. Remember, this isn't about becoming cold, cruel, or unfeeling. It's about strength, awareness, and self-respect. It's about understanding your worth and refusing to accept anything less than respect. The principles we've covered, speaking less, acting more, never chasing approval, staying calm under attack, being unpredictable, enforcing boundaries, and strategically using scarcity, aren't just tactics, they're a way of life. They create a persona that commands respect automatically, without having to demand it or explain it. Machiavelli said, "The wise man does at once what the fool does finally." Don't be the person who waits until years of being walked on have accumulated before standing up for themselves. Start now. Start with the next interaction. Start with the next decision. Start by setting one boundary and holding it. Your future self, the one that commands respect, attracts genuine relationships, and doesn't need approval to feel complete, is already waiting for you. The only question is, how long will you make them wait? If this video has opened your eyes to how you've been giving your power away, here's your call to action. Smash that like button, share this with someone who needs this message, and subscribe for more insights that cut through the noise and give you real power. Now drop this final affirmation in the comments. Respect is my birthright.
Remember, in a world full of people begging to be liked, the person who doesn't need approval holds all the cards. Be that person. Command the respect you deserve, and watch everything in your life transform when you stop giving your power away. Let's make this crystal clear. The journey from being liked to being respected isn't a one-time decision. It's a daily practice, a mindset you cultivate with every choice you make. Every time you refuse to bend for approval, every time you enforce a boundary, every time you act with purpose instead of desperation, you are building your personal authority. Think of it like compounding interest, but for respect. Each small action that shows you value yourself increases your power exponentially. Every moment you stop performing for others and start performing for yourself reinforces your presence. The world notices, and it reacts accordingly. People may resist at first. Some may leave. Good. Those were never meant to stay. The ones who respect you, they'll rise to meet the energy you've set. Remember, being liked is fleeting, fragile, and ultimately draining. Respect, on the other hand, is durable, self-reinforcing, and empowering. It shapes the way people treat you, the opportunities you receive, and the confidence you carry. You don't have to beg for it. You simply claim it by refusing to settle for anything less. So start today. Start now. Hold your boundaries. Speak your truth. Stay unpredictable, calm, and unbending. Limit your availability. Value your time. Protect your energy. And most importantly, stop giving your power away in exchange for fleeting smiles. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I am untouchable. I command respect. The choice is yours. Continue chasing approval like everyone else, or step into the rare space of people who command respect without asking for it. The transformation is uncomfortable at first, but that discomfort is proof that real change is happening. That discomfort is the gateway to power. The world is full of people who will try to manipulate, disrespect, or control you. But none of that matters once you stop giving them the leverage to do so. You are no longer available to be used. You are no longer desperate to be liked. You are no longer defined by the opinions of others. You are free. You are respected. You are powerful. And the life you've been waiting for, filled with authentic relationships, genuine influence, and unshakable confidence is right within your grasp. Remember, Machiavelli's wisdom wasn't about cruelty or domination. It was about understanding human nature and claiming your rightful place in the world. And now, armed with this knowledge, the question is simple. Will you keep giving your power away, or will you claim it? Respect isn't given, it's taken. And today, it's yours.